Today we begin the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, which is one of the most devotional chapters within this text. While other philosophies are also discussed in the Bhagavad-Gita, and I've pointed out that the Bhagavad-Gita is a syncretic fusion of the 6 darshanas of the Vedas. But more than all this, you have the core of the knowledge that Bhagavad Gita is giving. And the core of this knowledge is based on the Narayaniya philosophy present in the Mahabharata, which finds expression right from the Rig Vedas and the Purusha Suktam, which declares who is God. And that's why the heart of the Gita, which is the central 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, deal with knowledge of devotion and how one can align oneself with the Lord. So Krishna begins the 9th chapter much like he begins the 7th chapter. You see, in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna declares, Jnanam te aham sa vijnanam idam vakshamya asheshatah yaj jnatva neha bhuyo anyaj jnatvam avashishyate. In 7.2, Krishna declares that I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and noumenal, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known. Similarly, if you go on to the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which we have now begun, Krishna begins the 9th chapter, 2nd verse, by declaring Raj Vidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartam Avyayam. He's now going to give him the knowledge, which is the king of all knowledge. It is the most secret of all secrets. It is the king of secrets. It is the purest knowledge. Why is it the purest knowledge? Because this purest knowledge gives you direct perception. What do you mean by direct perception? You can hear from somebody, you can read about something, but when you experience something yourself, it is known as pratyaksha, directly experienced. So Krishna is not giving you a post-dated check that after you die, you will come to me, right? Krishna here is declaring that I am giving you this knowledge, which on application will give you direct experience now and here. And plus, he says that this knowledge is not painful to perform. He says that this knowledge is susukham kartum avyayam. This knowledge is eternal knowledge, everlasting knowledge. And not only is it eternal and everlasting knowledge, but Krishna says it is joyfully performed. Susukham kartum. So this is the promise that Krishna gives when he is talking about the knowledge that he is giving here in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. But this royal knowledge, this king of all knowledge, this knowledge which was meant for Raj Rishis, it was knowledge that was meant for Raj Rishis, that is, kings who are also Rishis. So this knowledge was also meant for kings. Later we will see that it is available to you too. But Krishna says that there is a qualification for this. To receive this knowledge, you have to have two qualifications. In text 1, he says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Idam tu guya tamam pravakshami anusuyave jnanam vijnanam sahitam yaj gnatva moksha se shubhat. I am giving you this knowledge because you are anasuyave. That is, you are not envious. You are not envious. And the second qualification Krishna declares is that he has faith. One is Arjuna has no envy towards Krishna, whom he loves as a cousin, as a brother. And therefore, he is not envious of him. He identifies with him. And he has faith in what Krishna is saying. And here Krishna points out in text 3, Ashraddhana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu sansara vartmani. Those who are not faithful, those who have no faith on this path, they cannot attain me. O Arjuna, O conqueror of foes, but they must return again into this cycle of birth and death. In fact, faith is a very important criterion for receiving this knowledge. This has been echoed in chapter 4, verse 39. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tat para samyatindriyah jnanam labdva param shantim achirenadi gacchati. In 39th verse of the 4th chapter, Krishna declares, those whose faith is deep and who have practiced controlling their mind and senses are ready for divine knowledge and attain it. Through this transcendental knowledge, they quickly attain everlasting peace. So without faith, you cannot continue on this path. If you are envious, you cannot continue on this path. Later in the Bhagavad-Geeta, Krishna says, I am telling you this because you are my devotee and you are my friend. Prati jane priyasi me. You are dear to me, I am dear to you. That is why I am revealing this secret to you. So this knowledge here is meant not for everybody. It is meant for those who are devotees of Krishna. In fact, if you are not a devotee of Krishna, you are forbidden from hearing this knowledge. In the 18th chapter, Krishna clearly states this. Idam na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana. Do not give this knowledge to those who are not my devotees. But he says, Machit matgata prana bodhyantas parasparam kathyantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. I believe this is in the 10th chapter. He says that devotees, they gather together and they enlighten each other about me. And he also adds in the 18th chapter that those who share this knowledge among my devotees, they are very dear to me and they are guaranteed bhakti. So this Bhagavad-Gita is about 3 types of knowledge. Confidential knowledge, more confidential knowledge, and most confidential knowledge. What is the confidential knowledge? The confidential knowledge is that you are actually not a part of this prakriti that you see around you. You are not made of matter. You are not destined to die. Confidential knowledge means that you are deathless. You are eternal. You are the soul. This is that confidential knowledge. The more confidential knowledge is that Krishna is God. He is the source of all creation, and we'll go into that in greater detail in this 9th chapter. And then you have the most confidential knowledge. And that most confidential knowledge is that knowledge which is repeated in the 9th chapter and 18th chapter. Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskaru. Always think of me, become my devotee, offer homage unto me, be completely absorbed in thoughts of me. This is one of the verses in Bhagavad-Gita that is repeated. So important it is, the most confidential knowledge. And yet, you're instructed not to share this with people who are not his devotees. Don't share it with people who have no faith. And don't share this knowledge with people who are envious of Krishna. So the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita has three main themes. And what are these three main themes that are there within the Bhagavad Gita? The three main themes in the Bhagavad Gita are, number one, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Krishna is not different from the all-pervading Lord. That Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam, he is the one and supreme Lord. This is the first theme, which we will be beginning from text 4. Then you have the second theme. And what is the second theme? The second theme of the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita declares that indeed, not only Krishna is God, but the only way to attain this Lord is through bhakti. Yes, Krishna is God, but Krishna is available only through devotion. And you will see that he compares and contrasts other paths like the Vedic path in the 9th chapter, showing how devotion is superior to all of them. So the first theme is that Krishna is God. The second theme is that bhakti is the true way to attain him. And the third theme of the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is that anyone can attain him, that he is easily obtained, regardless of your station in life, regardless of how many sins you've committed, regardless of how you are situated in society, doesn't matter. That Krishna is available to all. These are the three themes of the Bhagavad Gita. So in chapter 9, text 4, Krishna begins by saying, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyaktamurtina matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham tesva avastita. He says, by me, in my all-pervading form, I contain this entire universe. By me, in my all-pervading form, I contain this entire universe. And all beings are within me. Every living being is within him. In fact, in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna describes what is knowledge, he says, Yaj jnatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava sarvabhutani asheshani drakshasya atmano tamai. When you have learned the truth, you will know that all beings, they are within me, they're in me, and they're mine. This is true spiritual knowledge. And here he says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagada vyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham te svavastita. By me, in my all-pervading aspect, I contain this entire universe. All beings are in me, but I am not within them. Now, this is a question mark. Why is it that Krishna is not says, why does Krishna say he is not in them? And to explain how he pervades the universe and yet he is not in them, because this is a matter of great Vaishnav debate among the Sampradayas. I will share with you one story which I believe explains this line that I am not within them. I take you to the story of Krishna playing in the mud, and his brother Balaram goes and complains to his mother that Krishna is eating mud. So Yashoda Mai comes to Krishna and says, "Why are you eating mud?" And with a mouth which is smeared with mud, Krishna says, "No, mother, I am not eating mud. Who said I'm eating mud?" So Yashoda takes Krishna and puts him on her lap and tells him, "Open your mouth so I can be convinced that you are eating mud." And Krishna opens his mouth. Baby Krishna opens his mouth. And when the baby Krishna opens his mouth, his mother looks into his mouth. And what does she see inside his mouth? She sees the entire universe. She is bewildered and stunned as she sees inside baby Krishna's mouth the entire universe, which he pervades. And inside that universe, she sees herself looking again into baby Krishna's mouth. This is what Krishna says. He says, I pervade the universe and all beings lie within me, but behold, I am standing here in front of you on this chariot, Arjun. Therefore, you can see I am not in them. And this leads to the next verse. And the next verse clearly says, Nacha matsthani bhutani pashyamay yogam aishwaryam bhuta brinna cha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavana. And he says, behold, I am not in them. Yet everything that is created does not rest in me. This is the contradiction. This is the paradox. This is the bewilderment. This is the magic of Krishna, the mystic powers of Krishna. Therefore, he says, Pashyame yogam aishwaryam. Thus he says, behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am the source of all creation, I am everywhere, I am the source of creation, but yet I am standing here in front of you. This is the uniqueness and this is the miracle of Krishna and his mystic powers. So the Lord pervades the universe. And this is described elsewhere in the Upanishads. Isavashyam idam sarvam. This is declared in the Ishopanishad. that this Lord pervades this universe. And this is Krishna. And Krishna declares that he is pervading this universe, and yet using his mystical opulence, his mystical powers, he is standing here in front of you, just like another human being. That is the magic of Krishna's mystic powers, how he appears as avatar. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham परित्राणाय साधुनाम विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. So whenever there is a rise in irreligion, when people are confused about dharma and religion, at that time he appears to re-establish the principles of religion. Whenever there is a decline in religious principles, when evildoers rise, at that time he appears to destroy the evildoers. So Krishna comes to give this knowledge. And in the Mundaka Upanishad it is described that there are two types of knowledge. One knowledge is called Paravidya and the other knowledge is called Aparavidya. Paravidya, the Mundaka Upanishad explains, is knowledge of God, of the divine, of the all-pervading spirit. And Aparavidya is the rest of knowledge. Whatever else you believe is knowledge. Your knowledge of engineering, medicine, law, what have you, management, all that is aparavidya. So Krishna here is giving paravidya, that knowledge which is the superior knowledge. And he goes on to say, Yatha akasho stito nityam vayur sarvatra gomahan tatha sarvani bhutani matsthanitya upadharaya. Just as the mighty wind is situated in space in the sky, similarly, in that manner, all beings rest within me. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad-Geeta, Krishna explains, Yatha sarvagatam sokshmad akasham nopalipyate sarvatra avastito dehe tathatma na lipyate. The soul is situated within the human body. This is Sankhya philosophy. And while it is situated within the human body, it illuminates, it is situated in the region of the heart and illuminates the entire body with consciousness. But yet this soul, while it pervades the body, is like the space and the wind. So your soul is within your body, but it actually has no connection with your body. It simply pervades it, just like wind pervades the sky. Similarly, here Krishna is explaining, you are infinitesimal. He is infinite. You are an infinitesimal part of him. He is the infinite and containing everything. And thus he states that I am like space containing everything. And thus all beings rest within me, although I am not entangled in them. Plus he explains in text 7 that, O son of Kunti, at the end of every kalpa, in the end of every millennium, everything that is created enters into my nature. And at the beginning of the next kalpa, the next millennium, it emerges once again through my creation. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam. Kalpakshaye punastani kalpadav vrisrijami aham. And he thus declares that this entire cosmic manifestation is under me. It is manifested again and again, and by my will it is annihilated. Please understand this important principle that whereas you might have heard elsewhere that Brahma creates, Vishnu maintains, and Shiva destroys, here Krishna is saying that he creates, he destroys, and he maintains. Prakritim swam avashtabhya vishrijami punah punah bhuta gramam imam kritsnam avasam prakriter vasat. So I create the entire cosmic order and I lead to its annihilation in the end. And by my will it is manifested again and again and sustained and maintained by me as well. So here Krishna declares he is the creator, he is the maintainer, he is the destroyer and then creator again of this universe. And yet he says, Nacha mam tani karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya udasina vadasinam asaktam teshu karmashu. And although I am doing all these things, all this work doesn't affect me. I am ever detached and I am seated without attachment, perfectly neutral in the observer of this creation, maintenance, and destruction. How is that so? It is because he indirectly creates, maintains, and destroys through Prakriti. And here he says, Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagad Viparivartate. Prakriti, material nature, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti. And it is producing all kinds of moving and non-moving entities. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So this is what Krishna declares. I think earlier in the 7th chapter, I have declared to you what Krishna says. And what does Krishna say there? Krishna declares and says that Bhumi apo nalo vayur kham mano buddhireva cha ahankara itya me bhinna prakriti ashtada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego, they are all part of Prakriti, my inferior energy. Aparayam itastvanyam prakritim vidime param jiva bhutam mahabhao yayedam dharyate jagat. Indeed, he declares that you are parts of my superior energies who is sustaining and maintaining creation. And he points out that you are not the same as me. You are an infinitesimal fragment of me. He declares in the Bhagavad-Geeta, Mamai vamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana shastendriyani prakritistani karshati. You are an infinitesimal part of me who is simply struggling with your Prakriti, which includes your mind and your 5 senses. You think you're struggling, you think you're suffering. This is because you're struggling with your mind and your five senses. You're struggling with Prakriti. And this Prakriti, Krishna says in this chapter, Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti. I am the controller of Prakriti. And when he's talking about you struggling with the Prakriti, he says, Daivi asagunamai mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. He says, I am the source of this Prakriti. I am the controller of this Prakriti. And therefore he says, Prakriti is my divine energy. It is far more powerful than you as an individual soul. And therefore he says, when you surrender unto me, you will be able to transcend Prakriti. You will stop fighting with Prakriti and you will transcend it. So I will pause here. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them up. But this deals with the main theme of the Bhagavad-Gita. And the main theme of the Bhagavad-Gita being that Krishna is God. And this first theme of the 9th chapter is that Krishna is God and equal to the all-pervading. Are there any questions, queries, comments, anything to share?
Yes, thank you so much for today's enlightening session, Shatnuji. My first question is, why is chapter 9 called the most confidential knowledge, and what makes it so special according to Lord Krishna?
It's because Krishna shows here for the first time in detail the path to him. And he explains that bhakti is that path which leads to God. And this knowledge that bhakti leads to God, this mana mana bhava madhavakyo, is repeated in the 18th chapter, is not given to everybody. It is given only to those who are non-envious and those who have faith in Krishna.
And secondly, how can the knowledge of chapter 9 be applied in modern life for spiritual and emotional balance?
We will continue further and Krishna will explain in the 9th chapter how prayer is not a 10-minute thing in the morning or 10-minute thing in the evening or even an hour of meditation in the morning and evening.
Hmm.
But Krishna will explain in this 9th chapter that your life must become a continuous, uninterrupted, unmotivated prayer to him. And that will come in the verse, Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat yuhosi dadasi yat. But that comes much later.
All right. It was wonderful, listening to you, Shantanu today. Thank you so much for it. And to our viewers, if you like this session, then don't forget to share this video with your loved ones. Also, stay tuned with us as we meet again on next Thursday at 8 a.m. for yet another session on the Bhagavad Gita.
So Hari Om, Jai Shri Krishna, Hare Krishna.